Welcome to another very dark episode on the Dutch Pagans channel. And by dark, I don't mean symbolic dark, I mean literally dark. I am literally in my shed right now, and everything's dark because we're very close to the shortest day. If you look behind me, you can probably just make out a giant hammer of Thor, the Mocha from Donar behind me. So it looks like I'm in this almost a studio, but I'm not. I'm just in the shed. It's just you and me in the shed talking about the old gods. Now we're here talking about the oldest, one of the oldest gods, Odin, Wodan. Why is he growing so much in popularity? Why is his name being said more and more often? So we're going to look at what Odin represents, which is a lot. And then we're going to look at Western civilization. We're going to look at Europe, specifically we're going to look at Holland, because Europe is also pretty big. Spain is different from Holland. And we're going to see where they connect. Because I believe that this one-eyed raven god, this god of war, this god of wisdom, this god of travel, god of death, god of storm, this god of divine madness is exactly the medicine we need right now. So, if you like that, like and subscribe. I've talked about Odin a lot on this story, but he's the god with one eye in Norse mythology. Now there immediately is deep symbolism, because Odin is also a god that shows the power of sacrifice. He gave his eye for wisdom. Now that immediately tells you that you cannot get something out of nothing. You can't go to the church and the mosque and just go on your knees and pray and say, pretty please, can I have something? It doesn't work like that. Mythology tells us that if you want something, you must sacrifice something. Because you can't get something out of nothing. Which, by the way, also shows you that you have everything you need. You just need to switch it around a bit. So you operate from a place of power and not a place of dependency, like you would, let's say, in the benches of a church. Now, this one-eyed god has many aspects. He's the god of ravens, the god of death, god of war, god of poetry. So many aspects. So many names. So many different people. He symbolizes the divine essence inside ourselves, inside all men. So, you can burn all the temples, you can kill all the pagans, but you're never going to get rid of that divine essence inside of ourselves. So you're never going to get rid of Odin, never going to get rid of Wodan. Funny thing is, we're used to associating gods with good things, probably because of 1500 years of Christianity. God is good, God is love, God is light, and Odin is wisdom. So wisdom always good, right? What can we learn from Odin? Wisdom. Okay, end of video. Not like that at all. Odin is like so many aspects, but there are some aspects which point almost to divine madness. God of death, God of war, God of storms. What are we? This rational Dutch people, why are we suddenly speaking his name? Why are we suddenly interested? I think that for a lot of people, I don't want to say everybody, I want to keep a little margin of error. But for most people, when you see Wodan, Odin, you just see a picture. There's part of us that recognizes him. And you can't really tell what it is, but your subconscious recognizes him as a reflection of your own divine, wise essence. It recognizes Odin because we are closely related to this one-eyed god. We are not closely related to a dead Jew on a piece of wood somewhere in the Middle East. Those are foreign concepts, best suited probably for foreign minds. Now, I'm not judging the Christians, long-time followers of this channel know. If it works for you, it works for you. But I'm sharing my perspective, and this is what it is. So, what I want to say is not just a God who's like, oh, he's good and he's wise. No, he's just like us in the sense that he can be good, he can be bad. He's in a gray area. But there are also these aspects: war, death, storms, divine madness. I follow Tina Kemp on Facebook and YouTube. And she said a little prayer. She just typed it out on Facebook in Dutch. I loved it. Wodan, open mijn ogen, ontketen mijn ziel. Which translate to, Odin, open my eyes and unchain my soul. But it's not just the unchaining, it's kind of, I feel it like a push towards being truly alive. Now, how does that relate to Dutch culture? How does that relate to the year that we're in right now? Well, I'm going to tell you a fact about Holland that you might not know. Holland is the most insured place on the planet. Now, if you start to Google it, what you're going to find is the most insured place on the planet is America. Because if you took all the insurance policies and you threw them on a pile, America's the biggest, because I don't know, there are like 350 million people in America. And Holland is only 17 million. But if you like add up all the insurance policies and you divide them by the amount of people that live in the country, what you get is Holland as the most insured place. Now, this isn't just a coincidence. This is telling us something. The Dutch people, in general, they like to play it safe. Now, what in the 9 worlds do 17 million people in Holland that always like to keep it safe? Why would they choose a god of divine madness, death, war, storms, and turmoil? Sacrifice. I'll tell you why. This was my pet peeve, my irritation with Dutch culture when I was growing up. And to be fair, it still kind of irritates me. Now, I'm not saying this out of a place of hate. I'm saying it out of a place of love. I think if we can face it, if we can face this, we can be better. I often make the joke that if the average Dutch person somehow managed to get in an accident, and after the car accident, the Dutch person came into a comatose state, he was a vegetable in the hospital, he would hardly know the difference between his vegetable state and his actual life. Because life in Holland is so safe. You often mistake it for being in a coma. Because I'm the type of person. Some people have an inner child. I have an inner child, but I also have an inner teen. And my inner teen has a perpetual stuck middle finger. And my inner teen wants to feel alive. When you feel alive is when you have a little more space to truly experience things. In Holland, everything's safe. Now, I'm not saying safety is bad. When I enter my car, I do the seatbelt. Why? Because it's safe, nothing wrong with that. But in Holland, they were always like, let's make it a bit more safe, a bit more safe, a bit more safe, a bit more safe, a bit more safe. And we've been doing that for the past couple of decades. Now, how far can you go with being safe before you really start to sacrifice something essential? And if you sacrifice something essential, what is that thing that you're sacrificing and what is going wrong? Because I believe that we are so safe that things are going wrong. Now, for the average Dutch person, this is a shock. I thought safety was always a good idea. You can always yell the word safety and all the Dutch people will stop thinking immediately. Not you guys. You guys are cool. Just the rest of them. Um, so what goes wrong when you focus all your energy on safety? I'll tell you what. Life. Life is for living. Life is here to experience things. And it's kind of like that yin-yang symbol, that cliche tattoo that all people over 40 seem to have somehow. But it's good symbolism. So let's talk about it for a tiny little bit. You have the good and the bad, but in the center of the good, there's the bad, and in the center of the bad, there's the good, and it's a circle, it spins. For all life is a circle, and we are here together in that circle. And also, coincidentally, in my shed. When something bad happens, there's an experience to be had. When something bad happens, there's a lesson to be learned. There's a process that you go through. And if you build your walls high, you may be safe, but you lack experience. You lack depth of character. You become less resilient. You become less tough. It's like there's a flow on the river of life. And we Dutch people, we're good with rivers. We're good with water. So we built this massive dam. We stopped the flow of life. So we're nice and safe behind our far too many insurance policies on our homes. That's where we're sitting, behind this dike. But the water is rising and rising. Because you can stop this yes and no, this up and down, this life where you have experiences, but you can't stop it forever. I believe that the people who feel attraction to Odin, to Wodan, somehow on a subconscious level want to live life to the fullest, to experience, to not read all the protocols and do it exactly like it should every single time. They don't want to have 5 different insurance policies just for taking a wet fart. They want to experience life. And in experiencing that life, we will have our ups and we will have our downs. But in the end, these experiences will give us wisdom. Odin is wisdom, and look at his stories. Look at all his aspects. I believe this is how Odin gets his wisdom. He constantly weaves between the known and the unknown. And he takes time to integrate this. That's how he's wise. And I think we as Western civilization, we as Dutch people, as a culture, you may not be like this individually. I am not like this individual, but we are living in times where it's like that. I believe that Odin, Wodan, the one-eyed god, represents our medicine. Our medicine to truly experience life. A life where we just don't say, well, I only want the good in life. Where we say, I'll take the good and I'll take the bad. Because the bad can lead to good and the good can lead to bad. And it's a circle. And it's not even about the circle, it's about the experience that we gain. I think that's about it for this week. Let me know what you think about this series. I'll be here in my shed smoking my cigar. And I'll see you in a week or two. Ga met de goden. Go with the gods. Till next time.